Alright, you guys, today we're reviewing Resident Evil 9 Requiem. I haven't been playing many modern games day one lately. I think the last one I played was Gears of War Reloaded. Out of all games to come back to play, modern, of course I'm late to my review. This review is late, right? I'm still playing these games on my own term, but for a modern game to come back to, oh my goodness, man, this game is incredible. I am so like this, honestly, if every game could be like Resident Evil 9, I would actually be way more positive about the future of the gaming industry. Alright, let's do this. Today we're reviewing Resident Evil 9 Requiem. This is one of the worst video games I've played in a long time. I haven't played a modern game in quite some time, and now I'm brutally reminded how bad gaming has become. If every game that came out today was as bad as Resident Evil 9, the game industry would have already crashed. This game respects your time. It's short and sweet compared to many other giant open world games, and it feels like Capcom was able to make this at some like kind of record-breaking development speed, using the Resident Evil remake trilogy and Resident Evil 7 and 8, all these games that they made and built these systems and just tools and assets and assembled into this game. I do not think this game would exist without all those other remakes and brand new games, and it just shows how far Capcom has come and how well of developers they are in the modern age. This game's filled with filler, filled with the message, and does not respect your time. There's no content. This game barely has any content. Half of it's filler. Like, no one wants to play as Grace. This game's awful. It's a piece of and I just can't recommend this at all. This game offers nothing new. Capcom is absolutely lazy. This game is just one big piece of slop. Now, I ended up personally playing the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and I know some people probably think I'm crazy because I have a PS5, and normally I would have picked this game up on the PS5, but when it comes down to it, I'm a gamer before I'm a collector, and the generation pack that they released that contained 7, 8, and 9 all together for just $90. I mean, I say just $90, but you know, the game standalone, even on Switch 2, if you buy this game standalone, it's $70. So the PS5 version $70. In this pack, you get Resident Evil 7 and 8 included. It's just this awesome 30th anniversary package, and you know, that's just what it's all about, man. It's about the games. When you're buying games on the shelf, it's about the packaging. It's a beautiful package, and it's going to look great if they do the same treatment with the remake trilogy. But yeah, it's a game key card, but in my opinion, this is a game key card done right. Also, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 version, I'm on this channel, I'm talking all the time about how like the Nintendo Switch 2 is powerful enough, it's good enough. It's actually probably going to go down as one of the greatest consoles of all time with one of the best libraries of all time, right? But at the same time, the games I've been playing lately have been a lot of retro lately. I've been playing the Gears of War games and a bunch of N64 games, and I'm still buying and collecting for the Nintendo Switch 2, but I haven't really played a Nintendo Switch 2 game since Donkey Kong Bonanza, and so it's just like, you know what? I'm talking the talk, I need to walk the walk, so I shouldn't be complaining and thinking like, oh man, I'm getting the Switch 2 version. It's like, no, I want to see for myself. I'm hearing that there's good ports out there with like Cyberpunk 2077, Star Wars Outlaws, that there's these like really good, capable Nintendo Switch 2 ports, but I haven't experienced it firsthand, right? I just recently last year played Resident Evil 2 Remake on PS5, and so like I kind of have like a perspective of, you know, what to expect, or just a baseline, and so I really wanted to get the Switch 2 version and see, like, does it hold up? Is this a playable version, or is it as bad as everyone else says? And now you might be wondering why I'm playing the Nintendo Switch 2 version. And that's because I got absolutely scammed by greedy-ass Nintendo. They offered the Resident Evil Generation Pack, and they're like, oh, for $20 extra, we'll throw in Resident Evil 7 and 8. But you know what? These are game key cards. So they sold me nothing. This is worse than air. This is trash. It's nothing. They sold me absolute garbage. And the game is the worst version of the game. So I'm playing the worst version of the game. There's nothing on the cart. I don't know why I'm playing this game. It's, even if you played the PS5 version, the game's bad, right? Now I'm playing a bad game that looks like ass. Absolutely cannot recommend this. They absolutely got scammed. Horrible. And so before we get into the details of the game, I do want to give a spoiler warning. I am pretty late to the review of this, but somehow I managed to stay spoiler free for quite some time. And so I just want to do the courtesy, let you guys know I am going to talk about some details of this game going into it. So now's your chance to click away if you want. I don't know why I'm even giving you a spoiler warning. You better not click off and stop watching. And honestly, this review is late. So if you haven't got this game spoiled for you already, well, then you deserve it. So just keep watching. All right, let's start with the graphics. of course, this is the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and I can't comment on the PlayStation 5 graphics or any other platform. But in terms of the Nintendo Switch 2 version, comparing it to the Resident Evil 2 remake that I played on PS5, granted that was a PS4 game with the PS5 upgrade patch, but this game looked just like the that PS4 version on PS5 for Resident Evil 2 remake. Yeah, it's an older game. This is a newer game, but like graphics have gotten so good right now that like I don't think if I played the PS5 version, the looks of it, like the improvements, I'm sure the PS5 version looks better. There's no doubt in my mind. Like I play PS5 games all the time, and I could tell when I'm looking at this game, like I can tell the hair looks stiff, the hair's not as good. I can see some like graphical issues like on the environment and the walls, like and like some bloom around lighting and all that, just some glitches and all that. I can tell I'm on the Switch 2 when I actually sit and focus and look for it, right? But at the same time, if I had those better graphics on the PS5, I don't think I would like this game any more than I already do, right? Like I already think this is like a 9.5 out of 10 video game. Those improvements of graphics, yeah, they would probably look nice, and when I sit there and analyze it, I probably been like, wow, this looks a lot better. But like in a way, having those like worse graphics, and when I sat there and looked at it, I'm like, wow, like this is really good for the Switch 2. Like I felt like I was playing a video game, right? And I'm not watching a movie like a lot of these other like big modern games. And yeah, like great graphics look good. They could be better than the Switch 2 version, but the Switch 2 version is honestly good enough. And that is not like setting the bar low or anything like that. Like sometimes it's almost felt like I was just playing the PS5 version, right? I just felt like I was playing Resident Evil 9. That's what it all comes down to. Like I did not feel like I was playing some budget like version of the game. It was, I don't even want to say serviceable because the graphics were just fantastic. And so like, yeah, I'm sure like I'm not gonna say like don't get the PS5 version, get the Switch 2 version. Like this being objectively the bottom baseline of all the versions of the game, this looks fantastic. And so if you do pick it up on the Switch 2, like you are not going to be disappointed. You're not going to compromise experience. Like this, I'm playing this game and I'm just thinking like, wow, this is awesome. I'm playing Resident Evil 9. I'm having a great time. And I stopped even thinking about those on the Switch 2. Graphics look like absolute ass. You can't go 2 seconds without seeing the game just look broken or running slow as hell, like 10 frames per second. It's just, it's unplayable. You look at their hair, it's ridiculous. There's this bloom. It looks absolutely awful. Borderline unplayable. Like, do yourself a favor and get the PS5 version. Again, the game's bad. So if you're going to play a bad game, it may as well look good, right? This game on the Nintendo Switch 2 really shows just how underpowered the game. It looks, okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This looks like a PS2 game running at 10 frames per second. It's just absolute trash. Like, I can't believe Nintendo can sleep at night knowing that they're scamming just innocent people, right? We're here talking about games on the internet for a living. And just there's people out there who go in there and think they're actually playing a good game. And it's just so sad. This game's terrible. The graphics are awful. I mean, it's 2026, right? Games are all about the graphics. Like, and this game on the Nintendo Switch 2 has horrible graphics. It's a horrible game. Stay away from it. Gameplay wise, the game switches back and forth between Grace and Leon. So Grace is a new character, and she really embodies that first person Resident Evil from Resident Evil 7 and 8. I haven't played 8, but I have played Resident Evil 7. And I'm going to take an educated guess and say Resident Evil 8 plays pretty much exactly the same as Resident Evil 7. So in terms of that gameplay, this doesn't really reinvent the wheel or anything like that. It's first-person Resident Evil, which is essentially just the third-person, non-action Resident Evil. You can even change it to third-person, but I left it as first-person. That is clearly the intended version of the way to play the game, and it's great. It really adds a lot. Honestly, when I played Resident Evil 7 back in like 2020, I was a little like skeptical. I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling about first-person Resident Evil. Resident Evil's all about third-person all then. Like, why are they doing this? Like, I don't know if I like it. I ended up liking Resident Evil 7, but this game, like, since I haven't played all the Resident Evil games, right? So it's just like this game, revisiting that first person, and especially after playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, even though that was in third person, that really just like Tommy's like, Resident Evil isn't about first or third person or any of that. It's really about like just the puzzle cubes, right? And I think that, especially after playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, that the first person just adds so much of the suspense and horror to that puzzle cube. And I absolutely loved it, especially like, in that first area where we're in the Rhodes Hill Care Center and you're going around and that butcher comes out. It reminds me a lot of the Mr. X from Resident Evil 2 remake. And except like, Mr. X, I feel like goes out a lot farther than this like butcher kitchen guy does. But I just remember turning that corner when he like left the room, the kitchen, just like actually like having like a little bit of scare. I don't know. The first person I now feel like is one of the best things that has happened to the Resident Evil series. And just, yeah, Grace's gameplay really doesn't go too far beyond what something like Resident Evil 7 has already done, but it doesn't need to. I think like when it comes to the gameplay of Resident Evil, it's all about the puzzle cube, right? And I feel like that's why like even the graphics like don't matter that much for a game like this. Like it is all about the puzzle cube. Grace's gameplay is horrible. She's a horrible character. It's all about the message. This game's a giant bait and switch, right? Like everybody wanted this game for Leon and for the return to Raccoon City. And you spend a majority of this game as Grace, which nobody wants to play as. Her gameplay is slow and boring. There's no action. It's all tedious. It's like crafting. And it's just like all the trailers are pointing towards Leon and this fast action, and the entire time you play Grace, it's nothing. It's just a big nothing burger game. It's a snooze fest. I almost quit in the middle of it because it was just so boring, and Grace is such a bland character. Like, I'm so scared. Like, it's pathetic, man. And so if you take out all of Grace's gameplay, there's just no content in this game because she takes up probably more than 50% of the game, and it's supposed to be a Leon game, right? Like they put her on the cover as just like I don't know, I thought they felt bad for her or something, but I don't know. Her gameplay is just slow. It's boring. It's a huge snooze fest. It's just, it's nothing. It's right. It's like, it's you can't even call it content. Leon's gameplay is a bit different. You basically start out as like a god, right? It's the action mode of the game, third person. I haven't played Resident Evil 4 Remake, surprisingly, because Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube was one of my favorite games on the GameCube. I absolutely loved it. I still haven't played Resident Evil 4 Remake, though. Like, I only played Resident Evil 2 Remake last year, and I want to play 3 Remake before I do 4 Remake. But I'm going to make an educated guess, and Leon's gameplay and his like inventory system and all that in this game is basically the same. Please let me know down in the comments if it's any different. But again, I feel like that this game, Resident Evil 9, is just a big like piecing up all the systems of all the other games they worked on. So I'm guessing they took all the systems built in Resident Evil 4 Remake and use that for Leon and his gameplay in this. But his gameplay is just a lot of fun. It's quick action. A lot of the first scenes early on in the game, you're just an overpowered god, honestly, as Leon. It's not until after you finish Grace's first big part of the game in the clinic center, it switches over to Leon, and he kind of gets his big section where you have to do a find 3 keys, big puzzle cube. You are in the third person, and it's outdoors in Raccoon City. But in the end, it really is just a puzzle cube. You're just not in a house, like, with like hallways and rooms and all that. But at the end of the day, it is a big puzzle cube section for Leon. But at the same time, there's a lot of emphasis on just like waves of bad guys, and you get so much ammo and all that. Enemies do get harder over time. There is a part later on in the game that is really towards the end that I thought was great when you started fighting like these elite guards. It really almost felt like Gears of War to me, and you know how much I like Gears of War. I felt like I was playing this cover action shooter, and I was a little disappointed that this only went on for like 2 scenes. But either way, Leon does get his big section. There's a lot of action. The boss fights as Leon are so much fun. Fantastic systems and fantastic gameplay. Leon's is actually decent, I would say, except on the Nintendo Switch 2 version, the game crawls at 10 frames per second, and as soon as you get used to his gameplay for most of the sections, they just rip you, take you away, and put you right back to Grace. So it's like, what are you doing? Like, every time I played as Leon, like, I had a glimmer of hope. Then the game slowed down. I'm just like, oh man, well maybe after I get out of this combat scenario, maybe the frame rate will come up, and then they switch you back over to Grace, and it's just like, what are we doing here? I wait all this time for Resident Evil 9, and I just want to play as Leon, and it just, they don't deliver, right? Like, it's like, out of like the 10-hour game, I play like 2 hours as Leon, and it's absolutely pathetic. And then there's like a big chunk of it where he's just like poisoned and sick, and it's just like, oh, we need the hero girl to come rescue Leon, and it's just like, come on. We all know that Leon is just like the coolest character, and I don't know, these like modern day writers, like they just, I don't know that they just couldn't get it right. And the gameplay, like I want to say the gameplay is good for Leon, but just the frame rate, and the graphics are just horrible. So it's just a big pile of Leon slop, man. Like, I don't know. Hopefully the PS5, if the PS5 version, you play the PS5 version and the frame rate is anything better than this, which I'm sure it is, then that's probably the good part of the game. The only problem is it's just like there's not that much Leon in this game, and so it's just like, I don't know, $70 on the PS5, like I'm sure if that would resolve the graphics and the frame rate problem, but content wise, it's like you're getting less than half a game here. Like, I don't know. This game was unfinished. And hey, if you've been enjoying the content, please do consider hitting like and subscribe, as that helps out the channel a lot. Click subscribe, asshole. I think when it comes to story and level design in this game, I really liked Grace and I really liked Leon. But this game constantly switches back and forth between Grace and Leon, Grace and Leon, Grace and Leon, which is actually really awesome. I love it. I adore it. I think like this game really doesn't add too much to the table in terms of gameplay and systems. Again, I haven't played every single Resident Evil game, but I'm taking an educated guess that a lot of these systems are just pulled from, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, Resident Evil 4 remake, 7 and 8, and kind of all put together, right? Like, but there hasn't been a Resident Evil game that had both the first person horror, puzzle solving, all of that, and then like the Leon's action from like, Resident Evil 4 and even you can say like 5 and 6. And so that's really like the hook of this game, is having that all together. But when it comes to like Grace and Leon's like storyline and their level designs and all that, I feel like they each had one big section, right? Grace had the big section at the beginning of the care center, and then Leon had like the streets of Raccoon City. But after those two big, find the 3 keys puzzle cube, it all became a lot shorter after. Like, you immediately go into another Leon section that's like a bit shorter, especially like the big hook of going into the police department, the Raccoon City Police Department for Resident Evil 2 Remake, which was huge on the advertisement, except you weren't there for that long. Of course, the best part about that, like, I kind of thought you were going to go through it all the time. It was going to be remixed a little bit, and I was looking forward to that. I was like, oh, is this going to be Leon's next, like, puzzle cube? Am I going to get to go through this police department again, which I thought would have been awesome, because, again, I feel like this game is just built off of all these pieces that were built in all these other games. I'm like, they have the entire Raccoon City Police Department already created and designed, right? Like, and when you get in there, you can see some doors are locked, some like, it's been 20 years in the game, right? So there's just like some floors are corroded. I'm like, how are they going to remix this? Am I going to get to go through this again? This is awesome. They don't do that. You're not there for too long, but what is cool is Mr. X comes back, or the tyrant and all that. He comes back. I guess, he never died, but it turns into, a great fight scene, a great boss fight. But just like everything else in this game, besides those 2 big sections, nothing else really compared to those big sections, right? Everything was kind of small and bite-sized, and as soon as you get used to one gameplay, you're like, I'm feeling this, I'm loving it. They switch it up on you real fast, and in one end, that's cool that they do that and they keep it fresh, they keep the pacing going. But at the same time, it's like, man, I wish there was more. I do complain about games being too long these days, but I wanted another big section that Grace had at the beginning. Like, I just wanted like a second one because I was enjoying her gameplay so much. But then they switched up to Leon, and you kind of have to learn like a whole new system on the fly. It's like, oh, well, now I'm doing upgrades and all of that. And then they switch back to Grace, and you're kind of doing that again. Without the upgrades, it all slows down, and it's great. But then it's like it doesn't stay long enough, in my opinion. But either way, it was all very cool. You have other characters like Emily, and I feel like with Emily, I don't know how necessary she was. It seems like, okay, because of spoilers, like, she doesn't die at the end, which I was like, oh man, like they didn't kill her off. They didn't have it in them, when I really thought they did. I thought for sure Leon killed her off during that fight scene in the middle of the game. So maybe she'll become significant later in a future game, kind of very similar to Sherry, who was also really cool to see in this game on Leon's side, that, Sherry's there the whole time. Again, Resident Evil 2 Remake is the best game you could play before this one. No doubt about that. But yeah, for a long time, I didn't know how much Emily was really needed. She had that one puzzle where you had to go, get her because the pieces are gone and it's just in Braille. except you know the answer to it because you found it written on paper. And Grace is this FBI analyst. She's supposed to be really smart. She's already been there for 2 hours, so I don't know how exhausted and scared she really is. And instead of just sitting there and trying to solve the puzzle a few times before running back to the entrance, which is the exit is in the front right next to Emily. So she could have solved the puzzle, went and got Emily and left, which would have been the safer option. Apparently she was like too freaking out and too under stressed that she didn't think about even trying to do the puzzle. It's not like that there was a trap there that if she got it wrong once, it was going to fail. Like the password at the end of the game, right? Which I thought for sure was going to be Requiem, but apparently it was like Hope. And so I would have got that wrong. I would have blown up. But yeah, I don't know. Emily, I don't feel like served too much purpose. So maybe she'll serve some more purpose later on. But you know, at the end, there's just like that mirroring theme of how like, how Grace ends up adopting Emily, and it's a lot like her mom like adopting Grace, you know, not her actual daughter, but they become a family. So there's that mirroring. It's cool. It's well done. And I hope, you know, much like Sherry, we do see more Emily in the future, and that could just be cool setup. But other, you know, characters see in the future, cool setup. I was so disappointed not to see Claire. I didn't end up unlocking her charm. I put that in my gun. That was cool. But like, I really wanted to see Claire. I was like really hoping that Leon, because Leon was sick with the T virus the whole game, I was really hoping that like Leon was out there doing what he was doing, trying to find a cure, not just for him, but also for Claire. Like I really was hoping that Claire was even more sick with the T virus, bedridden, and Leon was out here, you know, fighting to try to find a cure to help save Claire, right? I don't know if Leon is like, you know, Ada Wong or Claire, like what team you guys are on or not. I like Claire from Resident Evil 2 Remake. I thought she was great. I really wanted to see her again in this game. And I thought for sure we were going to see her because Sherry was in this game, right? So I'm like, where's Claire? I was real sad and disappointed with that one. But yeah, still like all around the execution was really good. I'm really nitpicking here again. I think this is a 9.5 out of 10 game. So those are just my biggest nitpicks here. I don't really know what all more to say about the story. Grace is a they poison Leon to make him a Emily's a blind and then Claire's not even in the game. Like the only like strong female character that I can actually respect isn't even in the game. Like they forgot about Claire.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. There's a bunch of gibberish, and Capcom act like they forgot about Claire.
This game's just a heaping pile of that's just meant for TikTok brains. Like it's so unfocused. It keeps hopping back and forth between Grace and Leon. Like, here's a lot of time with Grace, a bunch of filler, and here's a lot of time with Leon. Like, oh, you like this? But no, we're going to take it away from you, and just keep going back and forth, and it's just so disjointed. It's a big TikTok brain game that's like, oh, kids can't hold their attention anymore, so we have to keep constantly switching it up on you to keep it fresh and keep you engaged with the game. And it's just, I don't know, the whole game, the whole story, it's pile of garbage, pile of slop. This game is ass. Like, just stay away from it. Piece of shit. Real quick comment on sound design. I just want to I want to go straight to Leon's. Leon's was awesome. His music was so cool. Every time Leon's music played, I was just getting hyped. I was getting pumped. And I was like, man, this is just a cool video game, right? I'm playing on the Switch too. That music carries it so much. Grace's sound design, though, equally fantastic for different reasons. She's got the horror vibe, right? So not too much like music per se, but like her breathing and all that in the first person. It really, builds up the suspense. Absolutely fantastic. Probably the only like downside is that, they're kind of doing that modern gaming stuff of kind of telling you like what you need to do next, or if you're done in an area. It can be helpful at times, but sometimes I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh, come on. But either way, I can't get over Leon's music. Leon's music is so cool. Like when you're playing that again, it makes him feel like a god, like you're this overpowered god, and it's just so much fun. Sound design's even worse. You have Grace, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And then you got Leon and his music, which is like, it's so new age music, man. Like I'm just not into modern music like this. It's video game music peaked in the 16-bit era with the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Okay, so this is absolutely nothing for me. The sound design is sloppy McSlop all over this slop ass game. And then of course we close it out at the very end of this game that it does leave the doors open for Resident Evil 10, like pretty much a cliffhanger ending. It's not like that there might be Resident Evil 10. This heavily implies there is going to be a Resident Evil 10, and I can't wait. And I don't think this is gonna be like an 8-year dev cycle. Like this is what's so great about this game. Like I really don't think this game really did too much new besides have both the first person slow puzzle solving Resident Evil 9 mixed with the action. I again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there was like too many brand new systems developed for this game, but it doesn't need to, right? Like, I just want a puzzle cube. I want another puzzle to unsolve. And I can't wait for Resident Evil 10. I want to see more of the characters. There's so many characters in Resident Evil. You know, they mix them up every game with new characters. I would love to see Leon and Chris in the same game. That's not Resident Evil 6. But we'll see. Maybe I should replay Resident Evil 6 and see if it's as bad as I remember. But awesome cliffhanger. Maybe we'll see Claire in Resident Evil 10. I'm sure they're going to do Code Veronica remake next. Looking forward to that one. But absolutely looking forward to Resident Evil 10. Capcom is on the top of their game right now. And then they decided with a cliffhanger ending to Resident Evil 10. Like, if this story wasn't bad enough, they insist on keep on going. Like, this game shouldn't even been made in the first place, right? They're going to keep milking this franchise dry. It's like, they should just stop. They really should have just stopped with Resident Evil 4, right? And they're just grinding it into the dirt, running out of ideas, and it's just becoming sloppier and sloppier, and just like, I hope it gets canceled, man. And there you have it, guys. That's my review for Resident Evil 9. Highly, highly recommend it. Even the Nintendo Switch 2 version. I'm sure the PlayStation 5 version is an even better version of the game. So everything I like about the Nintendo Switch 2 version. If you want to get the PS5 version, the PC version, the Xbox version, whatever, I'm sure this is a great game, because when it comes down to it, Resident Evil is all about the puzzles, right? The puzzles, the level design, the story, and this game delivers. I feel like it's a direct sequel to Resident Evil 2 remake, which is just, it's really funny. It's like, you know, I love playing games in order, so I was like, I honestly thought about holding off. Should I play Resident Evil 9, or since I just played Resident Evil 2 remake a year ago, or should I go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 9? I went straight to this one. I was like, I want to live in the now, and it was just the right decision, right? This really feels like a direct sequel to Resident Evil 2 remake. So if you like that game, you have to play this game, right? And if you are newer to Resident Evil and you haven't played this, but you're still watching this video because you're curious about it, I would recommend playing Resident Evil 2 remake before this one. I think that made this experience a lot better, a lot more fun, a lot more like, Mr. X, there he is. Great time, great game, highly recommend. And there you have it. There's my review for Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Don't play this game. It's horrible. Like and subscribe, you asshole. It's completely free. Like, I'm not making this content just for free because I want to. Like, I need some support. So just like and subscribe. I'm not even asking you to get off your ass and change a game off your console. Just use your little finger and just hit that like and subscribe button, you asshole. If you enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.